Welcome back, and as promised, this is the day after pre-release. My throat's a little bit gone from talking all night and not getting much sleep, but wanted to run through the deck tech. I did place 4th out of 43 people. This deck performed very well. It is Simic Toxic Proliferate. I don't even know if that's the correct archetype that you're supposed to run in Simic, but it's what I ran. So deck tech wise, I'll go through the cards I got, talk about some of the synergies that came up during play, and so the whole premise of me playing this deck, and I won on multiple axes, is to at least get one poison counter on and then proliferate them to death, which worked out very well. Or it can actually win with combat damage. I probably had about equal wins with Proliferate and Toxic as I did with combat damage. This deck couldn't have performed as good if it didn't have both axes. So I opened the Inquiry Dominus, which just did tons of work when I actually killed with infect damage. Whenever you proliferate twice, they're removing 3 counters from among artifacts and making it indestructible. Only mattered once, and the flying only mattered once. So really it was the double proliferate that mattered a lot here, and the fact that it's a 3/5 body. Thrumming Bird mattered a lot with the proliferate. Amazing card, and created a lot of synergies in this deck. We have Mercurial Spelldancer, the oil counters. I never even got an oil counter on it. The big thing about it is it can't be blocked, so it could always just get in for chip damage at the end when you had a clogged board state. So a great pickup as a one of. We have the Glistener Seer. The one time that the Dominus mattered for the indestructibility, the Glistener Seer came in clutch with it being proliferated on, and this also came in clutch multiple times. My last game, they had no flyers, so Glistener Seer and Throwing Bird together just gave me a scry at the end of each one of their turns, which allowed me the card selection I needed to win. So only running 4 creatures. I am greedy in this deck, but it worked out very well. I'm running a lower creature count, and I'm also running a lower land count, but it worked out well. First card, so I could run a lower land count. Experimental Augury. So it's basically, look at the top 3 cards, put one of them into your hand, the rest on the bottom, and proliferate. The proliferate came in clutch multiple times. All the proliferate did, but this was card selection. We have Vivisurge and Insight, draw 3 cards and proliferate. Distorted Curiosity. This card I think will see some play possibly in Modern Infect if it goes back to playing blue. Costs 2 less if an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, so they're corrupted, but it can be in 1 blue, draw 2 cards. I had to hard cast this multiple times, but multiple times I also just paid 1 blue pip and drew 2 cards. One of my only few pieces of, I think this is maybe my only piece of removal, Mesmerizing Dose. So basically just taps down a creature and you get to proliferate. Yay, yay. Combat Trick, Aspirant Descent. The Toxic one on this actually mattered multiple times, and the Flying mattered multiple times. This is a great common pickup, especially if you're wanting to go with Infect or Toxic, because it allows you to get through. There's not a ton of flyers in this format, at least not from what I faced, and this was absolutely baller in most cases. Bring the Ending, the only counter spell I'm running. It's a hard counter if they're corrupted. Otherwise, it's a counter for, unless they pay 2. Big play. Countered an Elish Norn mom with this. It was amazing. And then the bomb in blue, besides the Dominus, Blue Sun's Twilight. This won me multiple games as well, even if it was just taking their 2-mana Reacher, which I did multiple times, so that way I could get through in the air. So that's the blue suite, and I say that I was playing a greedy mana base, but that's because I have double blue pips, double blue pips, double blue pips, double blue pips. So a lot of double blue pips. Running into the green creature suite, 2 copies of Copper Longlegs. I was worried about Thrumming Bird and Flyers, so I pulled some Reachers, plus I needed to up my creature count. And it's a Proliferate on a stick, which came in multiple times just to be able to sacrifice them and double Proliferate for a win. We have the Branchlight Stalker, 3-1 Toxic 2. If you could get this down early, this seems to be a slower format. This card is absolutely amazing. This card won me multiple games and is Baller Bloated Contaminator. So for 3 mana, you get a 4/4 Trample Toxic 1, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, it proliferates. So basically, it's a Toxic 2. But what's interesting is when then you combine it with the Dominus, you have basically a Toxic 3. Put it with the Thrumming Bird, and you have a Toxic 5 with Tramples. So you put it... I had a couple times where it went with the Aspirant Ascent. So it was Toxic 2 plus a double Proliferate. So yeah, this won some games quickly. I would say this is probably the all-star of the deck. Venomous Brutalizer. Never really played this card much. The one time I did play it that it actually mattered, it was for the kicker cost. So that way I could proliferate. Proliferated right into the win. But it never really came down. I didn't see it a whole lot. I don't know why. But another amazing card for a 4/4 for 2 green and 2 colorless with Toxic 3. Plague Nurse, needed another toxic creature. I never used the other ability to give my other toxic creatures another toxic 1. It was just a great blocker and handed out some toxic. And then I have this in my creature suite because it comes with a Rebel, the Battle Chair. Equipped creature gets +4/+4 and trample, so basically it's 6 mana for a 6/6 trampler. This card did 0 work, but it was a removal lightning bolt if other things weren't on the board. So it helped me in that way a couple of times, but for the most part, games, I had other things to do besides cast this. It might come down on turn 8 or turn 9, maybe later, but for the most part, it just sat in my hand and it was there as a needed in-game card. Are fun cards. So my other piece of removal, and this was very helpful, was Carnivorous Canopy. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. If that permanent has mana value 3 or less, proliferate. This card did a lot of work. It destroyed multiple forges, which would have annihilated me. It destroyed multiple flyers, which allowed me to get through with my Throwing Bird and my Dominus. Or my Aspirant to get the Toxic in. This card allowed me to destroy the Pacifism on my Bloated Contaminant multiple times. So this card was great. I wish I would have been able to get more, but it is what it is. Great combat trick here. This one blew games out of the water quite a few times because it has flash, so I just hold it up as a combat trick. So basically it gives a creature +2/+2, which is great. And if it has toxic, it gets hexproof. So that blew some games out also a couple of times when they tried to target my Bloated Contaminant or something like that. I also used it in conjunction a couple of times with the Aspirant Ascendant to give something toxic and then give it this for a combat trick, and that worked out well. All-star right here. If you can draft this card, draft it. Or if you can play it sealed, play it, especially if you can play anything in green. But target creature you control gets +X and gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. You can use it as a protection card, which I did multiple times. Just 1 green mana and your creature gets indestructible and hexproof until end of turn at instant speed. Absolutely amazing. I also dumped as much as 9 mana into it and swung for 13 with my other creatures It was actually the Mercurial, the Thrumming Bird, and my Dominus, 2 creatures in the air and 1 unblockable, 4 wins. So do not sleep on Tyvar's Stand. This card does tons of work and is absolutely amazing. Unnatural Restoration, just a nice little fun way to get permanents back from your graveyard, and it proliferates on top of it. So it's a regrowth with upside. So another great card. And then I did play some artifacts because I needed to get my creature count up and my toxic count up. So Dune Mover, toxic 1 for 2, and it allows you to mana fix too. Had multiple games where I'd start with either 2 forest or 2 islands in my hand, and I'd use this to get my other color or to get the second pip of something that I needed to cast it. Atraxis Skitterfang, this one was amazing also. Don't sleep on it, especially if you're playing anything with Proliferate. So it has 3 oil counters in the beginning of combat on your turn. You can remove 1. And if you do, target creature you control gains your choice of Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, or Lifelink. I predominantly used the Flying, the Death Touch, and the Lifelink. So, especially with the Bloated, with the Trample, the Death Touch is amazing because you're always going to get through for a Toxic. Anything with Toxic with Flying in this format seems to be amazing. And the Lifelink more than once kept me alive, so that way I could keep fighting, including winning me 1 game with a Lifelink. And with something like Thrumming Bird, if they don't have anything in the air, then you can constantly proliferate the oil counter back on this and use it over and over and over again. Had 1 game where I was running the Maze's Mantle +2/+2 on my Thrumming Bird, making it a 3/3, giving it Lifelink every turn, and swinging in and then proliferating back up, which allowed me to keep my life total high enough where I could actually win the game because I was in bad straits. Argentum Masticore. First strike, protection from multicolored, and then a bunch of other text. You have to discard a card every turn, and you can destroy something on your opponent's board with less value, with less or equal to value of the card you discarded. Great card. Only played it once. Saw it multiple times, but didn't have time to play it. It was more played as a, oh crap, I need to do something because otherwise I'm going to die type card. Because I had other things to do than play this, and there weren't a lot of multicolor that I saw in the format. A lot of people were playing just 2 colors, but almost everything they were playing were monocolored. Actually, in my entire pre-release kit, I only opened 1 multicolored uncommon. So there's Argentum Masticore. I did open 1 of each one of the Maze and the Bay, the tap, draw card, sacrifice it. These helped multiple times. And then I was running 6 more forest, and I had 8 more islands. The empty slips are for where I borrowed from LGS. I was running more islands than forest because I have more double pip blue. So what does 4th place get you at my LGS? It was 4th out of 43 people. 6 packs. So we're going to go ahead and open those as a bonus here at the end of the video. So I can't complain with the pre-release. I can't complain with my kit. Can't complain with my standings. We had somebody open 2 Elish Norns in their pre-release kit, their promo card and a card out of a pack. So, I mean, what are you going to do about that? I managed to defeat 1 Elish Norn. I killed as many people with poison as I did with regular damage. And I even had a personal win last night where I wanted to do it to kill somebody with poison and regular damage at the same time, but they cast a couple of creatures, so I couldn't do it. But I did let somebody kill me that way by choice, so I had a personal win anyways. So 6 set boosters. That's what you get for 4th place out of 43 at my LGS. We had 2 people tie for 1st, 1 person in 3rd, and then I took 4th with a record of 4-1. I believe my 1 match that was 2 losses, 1 win put me above everybody else that just had straight 2 losses. Drone. Don't care. We have Tyrannix Atrocity. Would have been nice to have seen one of those Phyrexian dinosaurs for my kit. We have the Might. This is an amazing card. I can't wait to play it in Infect. And then Tangleweave Armor. This is a rare from the Commander set. And the rest of these shouldn't matter. Infectious Bite. There's only a couple of cards that... There's the does that we used. Island. Yep. We got ourselves a list card here on the back. Stitched together from, what is that, Odyssey. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Instead, with Threshold, instead return it to play. That's pretty nice. Put a list card down here. Oh, we have ourselves a signed Vraska and Jace. That's pretty nice. Flip that over. Rib Skiff. Saw this once last night. Black Sun's Twilight. Happy to see this one. I got 2 reds. 2 blues, I believe. No whites. This is my first black, and then a green, of course, is the buy a box promo. So there's Black Sun's Twilight, which is a great card. All the Twilights were great cards. Expand the Sphere, Opening, Feed, Serum Snare, Charge of the Mites, Volt Charge, Great Removal. So yeah, leave a comment down below how your pre-release went. I'm curious. We got ourselves a list card. Don't know which one this is. It's one of the Street Fighter cards. Dorn's Wellspring is a foil rare. Nice. Urbrax Forge. This is a kill on sight card and sealed in draft and everything. It will take over a game. It's an amazing card. Rat Assault. This one would be great also. Paladin of Predation. I don't think there's much in the way of commons. Or there's one uncommon. It's the Mental Misstep. That's got it's a couple bucks. I opened a foil one in my set booster box. It's a little bit higher. It's yet to be determined whether it's going to do anything in the format or not. Well, there you go. There's a list card if you ever saw one. There's a Mythic Phyrexian Triniform from Commander Legends. Amazing card. So we don't have any mythics yet, right? These have all been rares. Let's take a look real quick. Rare. Yep. So that's our first mythic. Foil Oxidizer. Mycosynth Gardens. This one's fun. Urbrask, Chittering, Slaughter, Cutthroat Centurion, Thrill, Prologue to Phyresis. Nice. I actually made sure to get a whole playset of those last night. Not sure if I'm going to play it in Pauper Infect or not. If you can't tell, I'm very happy with this set because I'm happy for Infect to come back. I play Infect in Pauper. I play Infect in Modern. I play Infect in Commander. So I do like the Infect mechanic. Mandible Justicar. Evolved Spidoderm. It's the third one of those I've opened. There's our battle chair again. Last pack. Can we get a mythic actually from the set? And I may have sounded a little bit low last night when I opened my set booster box, but I did not realize that Elish Norn was worth that much money. I was flabbergasted when I looked it up. Phyrexian Might. Here's our Auxilia Finisher, Affinity for Artifacts. Hey, it's another Skills Hive. I needed more of those. Opened one last night. 2 of them is even better. I think this card can put in a lot of work also. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life, so it's a Bitter Blossom, and you create a 1/1 Might that has Toxic 1, can't block. And then as long as you have opponent is corrupted, all your toxic creatures have lifelink, so it can really swing a game. Let's see, that goes there. Good old Throwing Bird. Blightbelly. This card did a lot of work for people playing black. And a Phyrexian Swamped End. So that's what I played at pre-release. Like I said, I placed 4th out of 43. These were the Spoils of War. We got 1 Mythic in Phyrexian Triniform, which I think I may not have opened one anyway, so there's one from the list, which is great. And that's all I have to say, so may Keep Calm Kitty be with you, and talk to y'all later. Bye.